Sportowe emocje pod koszem zapewnia Anwil, sponsor strategiczny klubu.
Dzień dobry, witam wszystkich kibiców. Początek sezonu 2024-2025 zbliża się nieuchronnie, zbliża się wielkimi krokami i wielka to przyjemność gościć i zaprezentować Państwu po raz pierwszy nowego trenera Anwilu Włocławek. Przed nami Selcuk, Ernak. Hello, coach.
Hello.
Did I pronounce it well in Turkish?
Yeah, it was really good.
It was okay?
You surprised me.
No, I don't know anything about Turkish language. Just make sure that pronunciation is okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you.
How do you feel after this couple of hours? Actually, you flew yesterday, and right now, a couple of hours here in the club.
It's great. I mean, with the people of the club, I'm in touch since for a long time, and I knew people, not even if we met personally, face to face. And I made also my research about the city, so I had the first information, so I knew what to expect. And I'm really glad to be here in this city and among these people of the club.
What can you tell? What did you check before you signed a deal with us about this city research?
Yeah, I worked and lived in many different places. I lived in many crowded places. For example, born and raised in Istanbul, more than 20 million people, a chaos city. 3 years I was with Team China. I lived in Beijing. That's another
even bigger.
Yeah, that measurement is completely different. China with the rest of the world. And I've been in Ankara lately, last year, which is the capital of Turkey. Also is a bigger city. But I worked 10 years in Bandırma, for example, when I was coaching Banvit team. That's very similar, and I see a lot of similarities with Włocławek, because the population is almost the same. The
100,000 people.
Yeah, they have a little more, but not too big. And the shape of the city, that everything is compact. Almost many people knows each other. And in this kind of small cities, people are more helpful and more easygoing than everywhere. This was what I get as an information before heading to the city, and it's exactly the same. I'm happy to be here.
Did you check any I don't know, any photos or
I did.
Did you see any places?
I did check the photos. I did check the good places to eat. I did check how I can make some shopping for the needs in the house. So I did some basic stuff.
Okay, will your family be with you, or you will be here alone?
They will come and go a lot. They won't be here all the time with me, because my daughter is a university student in France. She is not with us.
We are closer to her right now.
Years. Yeah, kind of. Kind of. So she's on the last class of the university there. My son is a high school student in Istanbul. Because he can't leave that school he is attending. He is also in a private French school, and he's playing basketball in Bahçeşehir Basketball Club. My wife will be with him in Istanbul, and they will come and go every chance they'll get.
So this is all about this first background, let's say, and if you let, we'll shift into basketball.
Sure.
Coach, the first question will be just like in the history of every single organization, there are moments when the organization needs to stop for a second and start over, and when the new epoch, new era starts. And how would you consider yourself here in this moment of this organization, our organization, which needs to have a breath and starts again?
First of all, what I see as a huge advantage is the tradition and history of the club. They're really experienced in this league, also in European Cup stages. And I have my experience and different livings in my long coaching career, because I had to quit playing basketball in very early ages. And with the age of 35, I've been a head coach in the first division. And since then, it's almost 20 years as a head coach in top level, including EuroLeague, Eurocup, BCL. Of course, sometimes organizations are like human beings and get tired. Sometimes getting good results continuously, which doesn't let you refresh nothing, and on one point you collapse, or sometimes you're not getting the results you're looking for, and that makes you get exhausted. And on this times, the right timing for the refreshment with the right people is the most important thing. It's not only about the coach or about the players, it's for the whole organization. Even if it's the same person, the mentality and the daily work or some changes got to be there to make that refreshment. I think this year we got great chance with changing the staff, including myself and Coach Marcin. The other parts of the staff were working for Anvil MMA. But with the player crew, we have a lot of changes, except for three guys. One is a younger player, two of them experienced players. We got everybody new. And some of them know Anvil because they're Polish or they played here in the league. Some of them don't have any idea, which are coming from different habits, organizations, and beliefs. So as fast as we can build the chemistry, starting with the offices, coaches to the court, as successful we're going to get. I believe in a lot of relations and chemistry in the team, and this is the first thing we'll try to emphasize to all the club, not only in the team.
You mentioned, you said the word refreshment a couple of times in your first expression. Did you also need some kind of refreshment in your career?
Yes, definitely. For example, it's a very important point which turned my coaching style or looking into the business or rooting to the success was where I get the assistant coaching job in Team China, China's national team. Before that, I was a different person and a different coach, more old school, hardcore discipline, not a good listener. Then, after working and getting a very close relation, like a family member with Coach Bob Donovan Jr., it changed my way of coaching and looking into the stuff or problem solving completely, like 180 degrees. Big change for me. So that was a refreshment. Then I worked 10 years for Bambit in the same organization. If you work so long, you need a refreshment, and I didn't take one more season and set out like 7-8 months, invested to myself, rested, family time, watched a lot of games, made a lot of travels for basketball or for social reasons. That helped me a lot. After that, I got Sakarya from
second to the first.
Yeah, second to the first as a champions. And in the first year, we qualified to the playoffs. We qualified to the European Cups, and it was a fairy tale story in that city, which is bigger than Bandırma, smaller than Istanbul, very close to Istanbul though. Unbelievable, ambitious fans. A lot of similarities to Anvil fans. Same type of gym, a little bigger, almost every time full, and aggressive.
Okay.
And this is what I love, and this is one of the things which convinced me to take Anvil job, that we have this type of fans in the city.
Did you have some kind of thoughts after this season in Ankara that I need to start something new? I need to have some kind of new chapter. I need to maybe move abroad. I need to find somewhere else in Europe.
It's like this. When we were in the season, I was not thinking like that, because I thought we're going to continue with Telecom and we start rebuilding with what kind of changes we're going to do in the staff, what kind of changes we're going to do among the player roster. And we started planning. So I was not thinking about any other chapter. But generally, since a long time, one of the most important ideas I had was I wanted to coach outside of Turkey.
Okay.
So I was chasing my chances. I had also a lot of chances, but I don't know if this is luck or coincidence or chance. I had better opportunities in Turkey, and I'm not some coach who's changing clubs and places very, very fast and often. I stay longer usually. But after Telecom, of course, my first option was to try to coach in Europe. And our roads crossed with Anvil. And after several conversations, it was very convincing. The ambition of the club, the targets, the projects they want to run. As I said, the fan base is very valuable. And I felt really comfortable to go to fight together with Anvil.
So how many days did it take for you from this first signal from your agent that Anvil is interested, and if you are interested, till the moment that you said, okay, green light, we'll do it?
I think like 10 days. I think so. I was informed also before that Anvil is going to have a coaching change, and we can be involved with the mixture of the work. I said, let's figure out what kind of mentality the club has, what kind of conditions we'll have. Can we fight for a good spot? Can we fight for a championship? Because I didn't have that idea. Of course, I follow leagues and I know how the regular season went for Anvil and the other teams and what happened in the playoffs. I'm aware of that, but you never know the inside story like you're in the city or in the country. Mm-hmm. It's not possible without making a research. So I asked from my agent to get the details, or if they're looking after me for a head coach for a new chapter, why do they come to me? Okay. What's what they like? What's what they see? It's common, and it can be empower our organization. That's also important. And after I see this management is clean cut, very precise, open, and when we talk about targets, we speak the same language. It was not hard for me to decide.
So if you could point out just one, the most convincing, the clutch thing during the, let's say, this whole talks and negotiations, what was it?
It was the only satisfaction at the end of the season could be the championship. I mean, a final, a semi-final, or a regular season leadership wouldn't convince and make the people in the city and in the club happy, and that's it. The challenge is big.
Strong words.
Yeah, the challenge is big, and I'm all in for that. That's the reason I'm here. If we make the final, and if we don't end up as a champion, we're not going to be happy. I'm not saying I'm here, we're going to win the championship like that. It's not that, because it's stupid.
Yeah.
You have to see your team on the court. You have to see your problems.
Opponents,
who's going to get the best chemistry, who's going to get more injuries, who will be mentally more healthy, who will be a better team in the locker room. You have to see that first. Right now, we are collecting information, we have our relations, and we're imagining it. Imagining by good information or with feelings is different things now. But of course, all the year I'm going to speak about that. The reason we're here, me, the staff, the managerial staff, and the players can be only the championship. Anybody who's going to be satisfied with less than that doesn't belong here. I don't know if we're going to achieve it or not, but this is all we're going to fight for.
And the recipe of the coach Ernak for the championship is what?
I'm not going to give that. I'm not going to give that.
Not at this moment.
But
maybe later.
You have a lot of information.
Yeah.
We're going to bring in good people.
Yeah.
Which we can call family. Because I don't sign anybody which wouldn't sit on the dinner table with my own family. I bring only in this kind of people. And on tough days, it's very important that these guys take care of you, take care of the team, take care of the teammates. I always try to express that the domestic core is very important because they are the owners of this team. This is how I see it. They're not like here to play some kind of role or to rest the import players and the import players do the job. I never believe in that. In tough days, hard days, you need the domestic players to stay together, stay up, and help the others to stay on the same route. This is, if you're asking about the recipe, this is where we start.
This is why you called, for example, our captain Kamil Wączyński a couple of days ago. I know about that. This is why this is why you called also Luke Petrasek, which is quite a combination between and quite a bridge between.
Yeah, that's very important. That's also what I talked with the guys. They're very experienced. What I was asking from them, they did already in many seasons for this club, and also the other players we bring in, Gruszewski, Mihal. Their experience, Sulima, very experienced. They had their good days, they had their bad days. They, especially Mihalak, played in different countries, collect a lot of information. He has been also my opponent when I was coaching in Turkey. He played for Manisa. And I'm really looking forward for them to act like the owners of this team, like sometimes like assistant coaches, sometimes like managers, but in the locker room, I want them totally be very active, getting everybody together and involved.
When it comes to this familiarity about our, let's say, our background, Polish background, how many names, how many Polish names could you mention? When you first fought Anvil, who of the players came to your mind first?
Sanders.
Okay.
Starting from last, I mean, a lot of players. Jagodnik played here.
Okay.
Ed O'Bannon.
Okay.
Simon Shevchik, of course. Yesterday.
You met him a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, I got a lot of information about it's hard for me to pronounce. Gruszewski. Coach Urlep.
Okay.
A lot of coaches, in fact. We saw also on the corridors in the history of the team, like Petrovic, like Mutapcic.
Yeah, you mentioned, you recognized Pipan as well.
Ales
Yusuf.
Pipan, yeah, Yusuf.
Did you call anybody? I mean, because you said you were talking to your agent.
Yes.
Asking him asking him about the club statement and the expectations from you. But did you make any calls to your friends or any other coaches or players?
I called only one coach, in fact. I called Ertuğrul Erdoğan, who coached Lask 2 seasons ago. He's a very good friend of mine, and we know each other maybe since 30 years, since young ages. And since he knows people and the league and the clubs and the balance and the difficulties or the positive sides, I called him directly. And we had like not only one time, like 2-3 times. We had long talks and he explained me a lot. And he encouraged me a lot. He also likes and believes in Anvil organization a lot. He wanted me to take this job, and he thought it's going to be really good for me, and I can be really successful. It's going to be a really good fit, me and Anvil Basketball Club. So after talking to him, of course, it's a big relief. If you don't have the information to decide only with the limited stuff you know, it's not easy. I'm not that type of guy. It's numbers on the contract, numbers for the team. I'm not like that. I'm here, and I really want to be feeling like a part of the city and the club. I don't want to be like a foreigner here. That doesn't fit my personality. I want to understand a little bit the language. I want to joke in that language.
Okay.
And I want to know people where I'm going to drink a coffee or going to eat. I want to be part of the city. So it's important to get information. That's why. And Coach Erdogan gave me a lot of informations. And it was much easier for me to make a decision after talking to him.
Okay, nice to hear that there was somebody who was encouraging you, because I think our road to Coach Erdogan we never crossed. I think because he joined Śląsk during the season, in the middle of the season, and probably we didn't have a chance to play. I think so. Right now I'm trying to find
I'm not sure too.
Information in my mind, but I think not. One more question about you, Coach. You were coaching Darüşşafaka in the EuroLeague, the highest of the highest competition in our continent. But also you had this chance to, you did a great job just introducing Sakarya to the highest division of Turkish domestic league. Which of these challenges, which of these adventures were more, which of them would you put higher in your hierarchy of successes?
Of course, coaching in the EuroLeague, okay. I would put there. But the story is like this. Before that season, I took Darüşşafaka over. They've been the champions in the Euro Cup with Coach David Blatt. And they had a budget like more than $10 million, close to $11 million. And that was a EuroLeague budget. And they were clearly one of the candidates to win it. Like back then, it was Lokomotiv Kuban and Bayern München and Darüşşafaka, three contenders of the championship. And they won it. Huge respect to David. He's a great man and a great coach. And after that, Darüşşafaka had only 3.5 million in the EuroLeague. So 60% budget reduced because of the sponsor problems. Because Doğuş was the sponsor, Doğuş went out, and they basically find a lower level sponsor, and they didn't have the money. So it should be vice versa. In the Euro Cup, maybe 3.5. In the EuroLeague, 11 would be much more smarter, but that was not the case. My good friend Ahmet Çakı was the coach at the beginning of the season. I was in Sakarya. Sakarya is bankrupt during the season, so I quit on my third season, middle of December, and in 15 days it was a coincidence that Ahmet parted his ways with Darüşşafaka, and I signed with Daçka. Very bad position in the EuroLeague. We can say bad position in the Turkish league. And we continued a very tough journey with a very limited roster. But to coach in the EuroLeague is huge. So, and you don't have every time the chance. Sometimes you're the assistant coach of a EuroLeague team. You get that chance. Sometimes you're a big name player. You get that chance. You're a club people, for example. You can have this chance. But I didn't have none of them. So I have to work my way up, and doing everything out of nothing to be a EuroLeague coach, I consider is a bigger achievement than anything. I hope to repeat that again. I hope for another chance to go to the EuroLeague, maybe winning after Euro Cup, maybe getting a straight job. We'll see. But not a matter of today. Today is the matter to win the Polish league.
Okay, there are many ways actually, and you got plenty of time ahead of you.
Yeah,
and hopefully during this way there will be also success with our organizations.
Hopefully,
which will be helpful for both sides. Coach, our roster is still being built.
Right.
Are you satisfied for what you got right now?
First of all,
officially 9 players, right?
Yeah, I think the subject is. It's not easy to build a very strong roster here we have our own difficulties to bring people to Polish league. I mean, talking about high level, high career people. Budget wise, it's a problem. But our job is to find people who have the potential to be great players before they be that great player, to help them to reach that level. And in the meantime, serve Polish basketball and Anvil basketball team. I think in that manner we did a good job. Of course, with Bronislav, we worked a lot. I mean, our lists were huge. He got a huge network. I got a huge network, which I think since young ages was very important. And we try to build the best, not on every position. Maybe there were 6, 7 names before our player we signed. But still, the types of players we brought in, I think will be good combination together. Will be also good players with target, which want to make that jump start, playing good basketball here for Anvil basketball team. So far, I'm satisfied with what we got, but that's on the paper. As I said, when we hit the court and when we hit the locker room, if we got the chemistry and if we can follow the target together, if we are people who are willing to sacrifice, with that I mean sometimes you sacrifice your minutes, sometimes you sacrifice your private time, sometimes you sacrifice your body, sometimes you sacrifice your money, but if you're willing to sacrifice for the one sitting next to you, then this team will be really clutch.
That's how you understand chemistry on the team?
Definitely.
Sacrificing for one with each
Definitely,
other?
this is where we start. This is where we start.
We are looking for a forward and point guard and center.
Right.
That's the simple, because we know where the blanks are. When it comes to the roster, what kind of players would you like to hire on these positions? Let's start with with a point guard, let's say.
For the point guard, first of all, I'm not one. When we were talking about domestic players, I described it a little bit. I'm not somebody who's going to give the ball to the point guard. He will try to score and do everything. And whenever he can't do it, he will pass the ball. I'm not that type of coach. The point guard position is the most important for me, like many coaches and many organizations, because I want him to do more than the others. He got to think for the team. He got to create for the team. He got to score for the team, and he got to play defense for the team. And I'm also not like a guy. This is an offensive player. He can be a little bit weaker or softer on defense. Yes, there are players described like that, but I don't take it. I'm demanding, and I think in all ages, a player can improve. They have to do the work according to that to improve. And every day, even a little bit improvement is a huge step for a team. Because if we have 12, 13, 14 people here, imagine everybody improve a little bit. At the end of the day, that's a huge step. And if you improve a little bit every day, then that leads to success, definitely. Not only the players, I'm talking also about the coach, about the assistant coaches, about the staff working around the team. Everybody needs to improve a little bit. Not huge, but just a little bit.
Just make this day better than the yesterday, right?
Of course, of course. If you stay on the same spot, then your opponents don't stay in the same spot. You feel behind. So you don't gain nothing. So it's a living organism. It's a living process. And this is what I'm looking for from the point guard, basically. Who can do for the team and who can do for himself. And we're looking forward to bring good leadership there.
So experienced guy?
Yeah, I would prefer in center and point guard positions The inexperienced guys, I think, is very hard to play. In other positions, maybe they can adjust easier. But point guard is the driver of the car. If the team is a car, that's the driver. I mean, without a driver or inexperienced driver, you'll have difficulties, that's for sure.
What about these big guys, especially the center?
From the center, first of
Rim
all,
protector or more
we're
defensive-oriented guy?
more than defensive or offensive. I would say it's not going to be a classical type of a heavy center. I would be looking for an athletic guy who can play above the rim, who can play multiple types of different defenses, and definitely athleticism is a must. We have some options on all the positions. We are discussing, we are talking with their side, with players, agents, evaluating that. I think it's not going to take too long to fill also these spots.
When I asked, I also did my research. And when I asked about you as a coach, two things were repeated.
The most handsome coach in the league?
Obviously.
You're a bad liar too.
Patience,
Okay.
discipline.
Right. I believe in that a lot. To find my way to be a successful coach or to make a name in coaching business, I had to be really patient. We talk a little bit. As a player, I didn't make a name. I was a medium to low level young player who was fighting for his player personality and a spot. Then I had to quit because of two serious injuries with very early age, 2021. Then I was pissed off with basketball and I didn't want to be around basketball because if I can't play, what am I going to do? I love to play. I couldn't do it. So I was a little crabby. Then my coach back at the time, then I was his assistant too, like an older brother to me. He never left me. I mean, he called me every day. He forced me to go into coaching, forced me. At the end, I started with youth organizations and built my way up. And it took really long. If you're a famous player, if you got a good name, if you belong to an organization, you can have a shot earlier. Or you start working in a big club, you make your way up, at least to assistant coaching, maybe you can get a chance. None of these cases were with me. I started with a small club where I played, small first division club. Then I signed with, back then, before FS, it was the powerhouse in Turkish basketball, got the most championships and produced the most national team players. Eczacıbaşı was the name. I started working there. Huge achievement for me. Great club, great school. But after 2 years, they shut it down. Now this is one of the best women volleyball teams around world basketball. But after that, I coached 4 years in Galatasaray. Was also a very important school for me because I was the assistant coach of legendary Turkish coach Aydan Siyavuş. He is the one who invented and created the professional coaching in Turkey. Extremely great knowledge and professional attitude. After that, 10 years I worked with Ülker, which is a EuroLeague club. 6 years with youth, 4 years with the senior team. Then they shut it down in 2006. I signed with Banvit. 10 more years with Banvit. From a very small club, they've been a powerhouse and a player-producing factory in Turkish basketball. But after I resigned in a couple of years, they shut it down. Sakarya, you know, we talked about that. Darüşşafaka, 5 years. Darüşşafaka Basketball Club, founded in 1914. The club is 110 years old. So, huge tradition. Then Telekom, one of the modern basketball's powerhouses in Turkish basketball. Not EuroLeague level, but Eurocup level. They did good achievements. And that's it for me. That's how the way goes.
Coach, patience is there from your side, from also the club side, hard work as well. Love of basketball, love to basketball. Also, the fans can be guaranteed with great emotions this season.
Yeah, I'm not somebody who's getting nervous or excited during the games, but I have feelings. I'm not a cold-blooded guy at the sideline. I have a lot of mobility. I have a lot of body language and gestures. Of course, I can consider myself somebody who gets mad a lot, especially when we work on things. Losing the attention and the focus is something I can't stand. Of course, I will defend the rights of my people, my team, my fans, my management on the court. Sometimes you need to fight for that.
Even being ejected by the referees?
I don't prefer that too much. That doesn't happen much, but some texts happen a lot. And we'll see. I think we will have good core and work together with the fans, because I know fans is a huge support here in Włocławek. This morning, starting earlier than, when was that? I got a text message. It was 8:15. There was a queue for the season ticket in front of the gym.
Yeah, it started.
I came here like before 10, and the queue was like 4 times bigger than what I saw in the picture. And this is not only love to basketball. This is dedication. This is also for us the same, for coaches and for the players. That's the same. It's not only love for the game. There has to be passion. There has to be dedication. Basketball is not a hobby for us. Basketball is our life. We eat, we breathe, we drink basketball. So this is the only way to work on this level, to be professional on this level, and to be successful on this level. I know a lot of guys who love basketball. Once a week, they go to watch a game. That's love for the basketball. For me, it's a lifelong 24 hours thing.
We breathe basketball, we breathe basketball. The city breathes basketball. That's a great combination.
Yeah.
And a great, bright future ahead of us, Coach.
Hopefully. I'm really looking forward to that. It's very logical for me too. This is a very important starting point. This is not everything, but very strong starting point.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.